In 2004, his memoir sent shockwaves through the Black community. A lot of us know very well the book On the Downlow by J.L. King, and here to talk about the book, his experiences, his life, and also perspective on male sexuality in the Black community. It's the one and only J.L. King. J.L. King, how
Mm.
are you?
I'm excited, and I'm still, I'm a little nervous
Why?
because I've gotten rusty with my interview skills. Because once upon a time, I was doing interviews back to back with ABC, CBS, and CNN, BET, weekly. So I lost that my skills of articulation of myself and what I do, what I've done and do. So bear with me.
We're going to go back a little bit. Tell us a little bit about um, coming to terms and recognizing your sexuality. Of course, the book is about being on the down low. You were a down low man at one time. When did you recognize that you were sexually attracted to men?
5, 6 years old, growing up, again, the same story a lot of brothers have, growing up in the church, being groomed to be, really at the time, a preacher. My father wanted me to be a pastor. I played piano for the choir, that whole background story. But I always had a crush on my male cousins. You know, I used to sneak and read Playgirl magazine, Playgirl magazine. I knew it was there. I just couldn't act on it because I didn't know what it was. And there was no one in the small town I grew up in that I had as a role model. Back in the day, the only out sissy was a very flamboyant black man at one of our churches who played the organ, and he was over the top. And I
Yeah.
remember my father and uncles would say to myself and my brother, "Don't be around him, don't hang around him," all type of negative um, things about this brother. So I was afraid. And as I grew up through middle school, high school, um, I kept it on the low. I had girlfriends. I was the typical little brother doing his thing. But at nighttime, or when I was out and about with my mother, or whatever, I was still a good looking guy. I remember 10, 11 years old having a crush or looking or staring. But I had nobody to talk to back in the day about what were these feelings. So it was always, even when I got married, it was there. But again, I grew up to get married, have kids, go to college, serve your time in the military, buy a house with a white picket fence, go to church, and be happy. So that was what I was told I had to do. So when it
Hmm.
exploded and I set this monster free, then all hell broke loose, and that's when I paid the cost to for coming out. I didn't come. I got caught. I lost my marriage. I lost everything. I got banned from the church I grew up in. My parents was disgusted with me. Even my own brother. To this very day, we now are just getting together. We talk. I lost cut. I mean, it was 20 something. It was 50 years ago. So again, coming out, and then losing the marriage and having to maneuver my way through what it was like to date men, have sex with men. No one taught me, so I kind of felt my way through it. And
Hmm.
yeah, it took me a long time to accept who I was. I still lived a lie. Even though I got divorced and got caught by my ex-wife with a dude, even though I knew it was there, I still, after my marriage, pursued women.
Really?
I still pursued lots of women, calling to please my family, to please the church, and to take the spotlight off what had happened. Because when I got caught, it was all over the city.
Why did it get all over the city? How did it get all
Because
over the
the,
city?
the, the brother who I got my wife caught me with was one of the deacons at the church I attended. And she came in the house and caught us in bed. And she's from a very large family. Of
Hmm.
course, she went home and told her 5 sisters and her 4 brothers what she saw. And it
What
spread
what
like
what did she see when she came in there?
I was naked, he was naked, we were between the sheets.
What were y'all doing? Were y'all just watching TV or
We were about to fuck.
y'all were about to
Yeah,
do it?
yeah. He was the top, he was almost 40 years older than me. And he was grooming me. Yeah. He
How
was
old
almost
were you?
40. Back then I must have been 28.
28, and he
He
was
was
what?
60 something, 68. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He groomed me every day. When I got off from work, I would go by his house and he would teach me how to suck a dick, how to all do those things that we do. And I liked it. I loved it. I craved it. And so I got sloppy. And then one day I went to his house after work, and my wife at the time saw my car, his driveway. I got that sloppy. He didn't lock the door. She came in the house. We were upstairs. She saw everything. She left the house. I didn't even know she was there. When I get back to my crib, her brothers are there. They told me, "You can't come in this house no more, faggot." She was crying in the background. It destroyed me. It destroyed me. And yeah, she filed for divorce and so forth, so on. Yeah.
Did she know this guy before, or
Yeah.
was she following you, or
She
how
knew
did
he was a member of our church. He was a respected deacon.
okay.
And he would speak to us as a couple, a small church, everybody knew everybody. So yeah.
Okay. And so in this church, he's speaking to y'all as a couple. When did he
Hmm.
start hitting on you?
The stairs, the look,
Yeah.
the handshake, the brotherly hug after church. And then one day he said, "Hey, Brother King, I am putting together a young men's program. I would love for you to help me put it together. Come by the house one day, let's talk about it." That was it. So I went by his house. He served me a glass of cognac. He's the old school. A glass of cognac. We started talking. He started filling me out. So he didn't hit me. He didn't hit on me hard sexually. Probably Tuesday, the third visit. Yeah, I went over. He was in a robe, and he opened up his robe. He's sitting there like this, and I'm sitting there looking at him, and he had me because it's all in the eyes. He had me. He knew he had me.
So he
So
seduced you.
he seduced me. Yeah, and I
Had
loved it.
had you and you loved it. So had you had any sexual encounters with men before that?
No, no, none.
This was your first sexual encounter, and you were spending a lot of time with him, obviously, and then your
Yeah,
wife caught on to you
yeah.
spending time. So had she heard any phone calls, or what
No,
was it?
she knows that my behavior had changed because I got sloppy. I would stay out longer. I wouldn't tell her where I was at. I stopped having sex with her.
Oh,
I stopped the passion. She got on my nerves because I wanted to be with him. So she saw the change in me. I think that's why she followed me.
and then she came to the house, and she came in his house, and she saw
And
you,
went upstairs, came upstairs.
and she didn't say anything. She just left.
She looked in the room and she left.
Did y'all actually have sex before you left?
I think we did. Okay, at the time I was a bottom, right? So I'm new to all this. And he was grooming me for his own toy, boy toy. So he would penetrate me almost every day, every day. And I would go back every day, every day. I'm saying every day I would be at his crib. And then I would go home and I'll take a bath. And I felt bad. And then one time, bro, I got so sloppy, I invited him over to my crib while the wife and kids were upstairs asleep. I was addicted to this dude. Seriously, I was
And y'all
so
had sex in your house
in
while your
front of
wife
my
and kids were
fireplace,
asleep?
in front of my fireplace.
In front of the fireplace?
When she was upstairs asleep with the kids, and we was in the living room.
Do you think that she possibly had seen y'all engaging before and
No,
just got tired of it?
no. She just saw my behavior changed drastically. I
Oh,
no longer gave her the passion, the love, the touch, the sex. Always out in the streets, always over his house, always unhappy, always distracted. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to be
hmm.
with him. That monster inside of me had got out from all those years of keeping him in. Now that he was out, I loved it. I felt like, oh my God, this is what I want and need. And I jeopardized my family and everything for that dude. Everything. I lost everything.
When you lost everything, did y'all continue your sexual relationship?
My father told me one day he did not want to see me with him or over there. So I left that town and moved to a larger town close to Columbus, Ohio. I grew up in Springfield, Ohio. So I packed up, left, and moved to Columbus, Ohio, which is the largest city, and started my life there.
And what did restarting your life look like when you moved to Columbus?
I had to maneuver the gay community there, but still on the DL, still in the closet, because I still had child visitation, and my ex-wife at the time did not want me to have child visitation because she thought I was a pedophile. A lot of women think gay men are pedophiles, so she really asked the court if, when my sons came to visit me, if they could have a guardian there. So we fought that. So when I did see my kids, I would either go to my mom's house where she would drop them off. Of course, she would not let them come to Columbus because by this time I met this brother and I moved in with him because I was broke. I had no money, I had no job. I was paying child support. I was fucked up. So I met this guy who kind of took care of me. He let me move with him. He was on the low too. And so he would let my kids come to his house. So I had to go back to my hometown and see my kids on the weekends. I had visitation rights. So he taught me a lot about gay clubs and going out and more passionate sex because the older man was strictly just fucking, right? This brother taught me about making love.
Why was the old man fucking? What was he? How was he fucking at 60 something years old?
But he was, bro. Trust me. I still have, I still have wounds and scars. He really didn't care about me being married. He didn't care about my family. He didn't care. It was all about him.
Really?
It was all it was all about him. He didn't ever tell me go home, don't come by here, get up, go home. None of that. Just door was always open.
When your wife, said that she wanted a divorce, how did he respond to that?
He disappeared because
Oh,
the word got out it was him, especially at the church. Everybody was talking about it. That the King family, this young brother and his wife, was getting divorced because whisper has it that he was messing around with Deacon Bobby. And I think Deacon Bobby had a reputation of being gay back in the day, or
mm-hmm.
assistant or whatever. So it got out. It got out. So he kind of disappeared and left me alone. Left me cold.
You think your wife would have been able to reconcile easier if it would have been another woman instead of a man?
Think so. I think most women could because they cannot compete. And I've said this to sisters when I used to tour that they cannot compete with another man. She still loves me. We're good friends. She lives close to where I live. She's remarried. We get together for family outings and family gatherings. And she loves me. She's the benefactor of my will and my estate. So if I would die, she gets my money and she knows what to do. We're grandparents of grandchildren. She
Mm-hmm.
has forgiven me for what I did. It took her a long time because it was a lot of pain on her, but she has forgiven me. So when we're together now, she's just like my best friend.
So say you are dating a guy, you wouldn't bring your male friend around your wife,
Oh
or
yeah,
you
I
would?
would now. Yeah, matter of fact, my daughter always said, "Daddy, when you gonna bring somebody to the cookout or to Thanksgiving?" Especially when I moved to DC, I'm close to my kids now, and my daughter said to me one day, "You ain't don't act brand new. I know you was a hoe."
Before we get further into this conversation, what was the turning point? When did your kids and your wife finally come around to accepting, who you were, and what was that reconciliation process like for y'all?
The Oprah show.
Really?
But even up until the Oprah show, I still was on the DL. I still was in denial. I still took girls home to pick up the kids. I still took women to church. I still took girlfriends to my parents' house.
Why were you still chasing women even though you knew that you preferred men?
That safe face, and my kids were young, and be able to see my kids, I always had a woman around me. You know what I'm saying? Because I can show up at my mom's house with a dude, and when my mom and dad would visit me in Columbus with this guy I used to live with, of course, my roommate, my buddy, I need a place to stay.
Right.
It was never that for my lover, never. He was, but they didn't know that. They didn't need to know that. I had hurt them enough. I didn't want to hurt them no more.
You don't think even though they knew that you'd had an affair with a man before, they weren't suspicious that this might be somebody else that you were sleeping with?
They blamed the older man.
They blamed him for taking
Yeah,
advantage of you, basically.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So he took the blunt of the destruction of my marriage. It wasn't my fault. I'm a young dude. This old man took advantage of me.
You don't think that might have been some denial on your parents' part?
Probably, of course. My parents back in the day, man, they were gay. Oh, come on, man. This was pre-AIDS days too. So no, they no, they was no way. They was not going to ever accept that.
Didn't
Never.
your wife look at it as you being taken advantage of?
She was hurt that I could have said no, that I abandoned the family, that I put her in a situation that she was embarrassed because people talked about it, that our lifelong plan of being together till death do us part was destroyed,
Mm.
that she could not even look at me. She was devastated. She was devastated. And it took me almost 15 years to ask her for her forgiveness. I did not tell her I went on the Oprah show. Nobody knew I was going to the Oprah show, not my family, except my daughter, because she was in the audience. I did not give my ex-wife a heads up. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna be on Oprah. I didn't tell her I wrote a book. None of that, because I didn't know how they was going to deal with it. But I was driven by the spirit or something to continue on. It wasn't about the money. It was just something that was in my spirit that drove me down that path. Just to sit there with Oprah with 400 million people watching and to say the same, to say the things I said, and then that book dropped, and the people read it. It was being read all over. It was being read all over the world.
Hmm.
The day that book dropped, it stopped the world. Then they put me on the cover of Jet magazine. That was in Ebony, and then I was on BET and CNN, and ABC. It just hit me so I got caught up, and I didn't even think about my kids or my family who were bystanders to this JL person. I changed my name. My name is James. This JL person who was going all over the world talking about his sex life.
What made you say, okay, this is something that I need to put in the book and share with the world?
For the book deal, I was already traveling around the country talking about downlow behavior and its impact on HIV and how brothers don't wear condoms and we ain't telling our women and we don't relate to gay men and we ain't gay, we ain't trying to be gay, we ain't got no gay friends. And I was going to all the major AIDS conferences all over the country. And I was doing my thing. And then that's when I got discovered by a sister who worked for the New York Times, and then Essence and so forth. And so people had a face to the behavior. They never heard, they couldn't believe that I was saying that. And I was like, fuck that. I ain't no gay dude. I don't like gay men. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick question. When you were sleeping with men when you were having your affair, were y'all using condoms?
Hell no, bro.
Were you also sleeping with your wife when y'all did do it without condoms?
But he was screwing me. Uh, yeah. I couldn't go home and wear a condom, man. I couldn't do that. No, I wouldn't, because I wasn't even thinking like that. It was all about me and this need and this greed and this desire and this addiction I had. You know what I'm saying? When they talk about HIV back in the day, they didn't talk about it, me. They talk about those gay dudes that was dying of AIDS, not me.
When you would go back and have sex with your wife after these affairs, were you ever paranoid? Or did you ever feel guilty? Like, what were your feelings when you would go back and have sex with her after these affairs with this guy?
When can I go back to his house?
You
Yeah,
would
I
be
was fucked
thinking
up.
that?
Yeah, I was fucked up, bro. Yeah. That dude turned, man, he opened up a Pandora's box in my body that I had never felt before.
And then when you put the book out, what was the response from the black community? What was the response from the gay community?
I got a book deal. I was in New York. I was getting ready to do a special with Barbara Walters in 2020. And this white Jewish literary agent met me at Trump Tower where I stayed. And she had heard about it. Everybody was buzzing about this dude, talking about this craziness. It was people talking about it. Who is this little dude talking about this shit? And she heard about me. She heard I was at the Trump Tower. She met me in the lobby. She said, "Are you going to write a book?" I was like, "I don't plan to." She said, "You should write a book, and I could sell it. I could get you a lot of money for the book." I was like, "I don't know." Long story short, She dropped me. I got a couple more agents. My agent, who's still my agent today, so Elon Harris, I met him through the tour and been around, and he made a phone call to his editor and told them, "Look, y'all need to get this guy's story. You guys need to get this book." Elon Harris told them that. He said, "I write fiction stories. He's the real thing." And I got the book deal. They hired Karen Hunter, who's a phenomenal writer, ghostwriter, who has written Janet Jackson's book and Al Sharpton and LL Cool J. Hired her to ghostwrite the book with me, and the book was finished 2 years before it came out because Random House did not want to drop it because they kept hearing stuff from Jesse Jackson and from other civil rights leaders about this dude got this book coming out and how it was going to destroy the black community and how his story is going to make black men look bad. And they tried to stop the book, even after they gave me $1 million, because I got $1 million
They
to
gave you
write
a
it,
million dollars. They gave you a million dollar
to
check.
write, to write it, to write it. It came in three parts. Thirds. A third we signed a deal. Third one is finished. A third one it drops. They tried. Jesse Jackson called my editor and said, "Do not put that book out." They tried to boycott the book, but Random House knew they had a New York Times bestseller in their hand. They knew it.
Mhm.
All about that money. And Karen Hunter, I took 2 years to write it. It's new. The book is good, but it's not as good as it could have been. I never said that to anybody but you. The book is not as good as it should have been, but when you sign your soul over to the devil, like I don't own that book, for example. I don't own it. So when I get a call from a movie producer who says, "Oh man, we want to buy the rest of your book," one of the reasons I tell them no because if they gave me $3 million to buy the rights, I don't get all that $3 million. You know what I'm saying? It goes to the publisher, the agent, the Karen, and then me.
And so you would get a very small percentage.
I will get as much as I could if it was just solely me. Now, book drop, it became an instant New York Times bestselling author, which is what most authors dream of. That means the first day it dropped, it sold 100,000 copies, something like that, right? So when I walked off Oprah stage, it was a wrap. It was a wrap, bro. And my life had never been the same since then.
How did Black women respond to it?
They loved me because of what I did. They feared me because of what I looked like and what I represented. Because I didn't represent the typical that they assumed was gay.
Yeah.
You know, because gay men still had that whole. They was cool with that, but me not dealing with that, not having a different swag, it scared them, man. It scared them. So, but again, the women made me who I am today. I give all credit to the Deltas and the AKAs and all the sororities who bought my books and supported me and had me tour with them and do my thing with them. Black men, they read the book, but they tore the cover off. I would get some email. I tore the cover off.
Yeah.
I threw the book away. But thank you. I'm glad you wrote it. Gay men was the biggest pain in my ass. Oh my God. It was, oh my God. It was a big,
Why were gay men a pain in your ass?
because the hate, man, the hate was unbelievable. And even sometimes today, I still feel those who still remember me, I still get that type of negative feeling. So I had to deal with them and how try to get them to understand I was not talking about them. I'm not exposing you. I'm not trying to expose you. I'm not trying to be that. I'm not representing you. The book has nothing to do with you. I can't. I talked about that till I was black in the face, trying to get that community to understand that it was not about them. Never had been, and to this very day, it still is not.
Why do you think that a lot of gay men felt demonized by the story that you told?
You know, I was being attacked by Keith Boykin every chance he got. Keith Boykin became, oh God, he came after me every chance he got. He wrote a book about me.
How would he come after you?
He was again that, yeah, okay, you know what he's doing to black man is a disgrace and a shame and just constantly coming after me every chance he got. And he was loved and liked by black gay men, right? He was loved and liked, they loved and liked him. I was the arch enemy. And Keith made sure that they understood that I was bullshit. A lot of people thought I did it for the money. A lot of people thought that I made it up, like gay men. A lot of gay men thought that I was gay men, nothing, man. So I got tired of it. Dr. Ron Simmons, who was the founder of Us Helping Us,
Helping us.
was my best big brother. And one day, after all the hell I was going through, man, and gay men just hating on me all over the world, Ron Simmons had a private party at his house in D.C. And he invited me over with some black gay leaders. He had a cookout in his backyard. When he brought me out back and said, "Hey, bro, this is my boy, J.L. King," man, them brothers, they all wanted to leave. They wanted to leave his house. They were like, "Oh, fuck that. I'm not staying here. Fuck that." I mean, just that type of. And Ron, because they respected him, he was the godfather. He told them, "Look, y'all, let's hear what this man has to say." And I just said, "Brothers, I am not talking about you." And I use my famous saying, "If you don't eat pussy, or suck and suck dick, I'm not talking about you.
Hmm.
I'm not talking about you. You should be happy that I'm educating your sisters and your mothers and your cousins and your nieces who deal with brothers who used to be like me. You know what I'm saying? You should be celebrating the fact that your sister and your mother and your auntie and grandmother will not get caught up with some bullshit with a brother like me." That's what I'm talking
And so when you say that, you mean someone who
about.
can't be
Lies
honest about their sexuality?
and love women and men. There's a lot of straight up gay men who still call themselves on the DL because
Hmm.
they're in the closet.
Yeah.
They're not dealing with women. They ain't trying to be with women. I can get on Adam or Grinder or Jack, any of those music brothers on the DL, on the DL, on the DL. Bro, you ain't on the DL. My DL, the JL King introduced to the world is a brother who deals with women and men. Gay men who say I'm on the DL. You just in the closet.
Do you think writing a story in the way that you did and sharing it in the way that you did could have possibly contributed to the stigma of sexuality in our community even more?
Probably. I accept that. But again, back then, Sam, it was a different world.
Yes.
It was a totally different world. Now. Brothers are out and free and married and happy and don't give a fuck and they're doing their thing. But in that period, my story and who I was needed to be exposed.
When did you finally accept yourself as a gay man?
I have realized how beautiful male to male love can be and how comfortable it is for me now. And that I would never want to go back to being a heterosexual brother again. Never.
In your opinion, how is loving a man different from loving a woman?
I never been asked that question. Mm. I think there's something about the spiritual connection between two men that a woman can't give. And then when women ask me, can they compete with another man? I tell them, no, you can't. You can't suck a dick better than any man that I know. Don't even try. No, seriously, don't even try. Don't even try. I think that a connection between two black men can be a powerful, beautiful connection
Mhm.
that I've experienced. I've had both. And the connection I have with brothers are it's beautiful, man.
Let's talk about the down low. I mean, it obviously still exists. How would you define present day? How would you define a down low man?
Still the same. There's still married brothers out there to this day, and you probably know them who still have side pieces of boys on the side. And I've said to now, as an out gay man, I've said to my gay friends who love getting with married dudes, don't do that. Why you let him use you like that? Why are you sleeping with this married dude? He got kids and it could be your sister. Why are you doing that? Why you let him use you? He's not gonna give you his real name. He's gonna use and abuse you. He ain't gonna recognize you in public. But yet you want to be with a married man. So yeah, the download guy, he's still out there. The brother's still out there doing their thing, man. They out there doing their thing.
There
Gabriel,
are some gay men who prefer messing with down low men. Why do you think some prefer messing with down low men?
the thrill of it, the risk of it, the taboo of it. I do. I think they get drawn to that spirit. I think, um, and they go after only married men. I got a couple friends right now that only date married men. Only.
Mm.
That's all they want. They don't want no gay dudes. They want a married dude. Guy. You're in LA. There are thousands of guys still living that double life, man. There's a lot of gay guys who still only want that, who still go after that. The emotional breakdown of that to a female is devastating.
Do you think it matters if he's a top or a bottom?
I don't think who a married guy.
Yeah. Do you think she might be more forgiving if he's a top versus if he's a bottom?
No, no, I don't think so. Because they all think that all the women who are not in the know, they think that all men who have sex with men are bottoms. It's like, you a man, are you playing a man role or you playing a women role? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you heard that. They have not had sexuality or sexual behavior 101, about this is what we do. This is what we do. This is how we do it. So no, I don't think that makes a difference. No. Mm-mm. And then a lot of women, young women today, who find out their boyfriends have the boyfriend, they want to fight them. They want to, um, but still try to win him back. So I think still a lot more work needs to be done with the whole DL behavior, and I don't think it's never going to go away. I don't think it's never going to go away. I think brothers who live that double life will always be around.
It's
Yeah,
an expression of bisexuality. And
right.
so do you think a lot of these men are, they live on the down low because we live in a society where you can't just be open about your desires and things that you want?
Exactly. Bingo, bingo. But in the black community, my own personal opinion, they don't believe in bisexuality. Either you're gay or you're straight. But
Yeah.
when I used to say, I'm bisexual. No, you're not. You're gay. You're gay. You're gay. They would not accept that. Why can't I have both? Why can't I enjoy both? Why can't I be with both? Nah, you're gay. You're gay. You're gay. Oh, they don't buy that bisexual thing. Think about that then.
Do you think there's a difference between somebody who's like just straight out on the street cruising versus maybe a dude who hooks up with their homeboy from time to time?
As long as they don't tell their girlfriends or their baby mamas, they still in the DL. I don't care who they hooking up with or cruising or doing or bathhouses or whatever they're doing. If they go home and their wife and baby mama's waiting on them for a hot pot of coffee or whatever, and she don't know where he's been because he's told her he's been at voice grill watching the game. He's still on a low.
Why do you think sexuality is so stigmatized in the black community? I mean, religion,
I think
obviously.
I think fear. I think a lot of it still has to do with fear of acceptance or uh I don't know, man. I don't know if I can answer that. I don't know if I can answer it. If you find out, let me know. I just think that we got a long way to go. But we've come a long way. Yes, we have. But I think we still got a long way to go.
Last question, looking back at your journey, where you've come from, and the response that you got by choosing to share your story and live your life more openly, what would you have done differently? And if you could share that story today, if you were to write that book again today, would you do anything differently?
I should have sat down with my kids and my ex-wife and my mom and dad and my brother and my cousin and said, "This is what I'm about to do and why I'm about to do it." They got side hit. My son was at Hampton University, and when the Oprah show aired or BET or some shit I was on, he had to leave school.
Do you feel like the way that you did it, you felt like you betrayed your family a little bit?
Oh yeah, yeah, I know I did. I know I did. And even to this very day, I'm still trying to make that up. You know what I'm saying? So it's so the opportunity I get to be a grandfather, I take advantage of it, you know? The opportunity I get to spend time with my sons and my daughter is my joy and happiness. Because all that time I lost, still trying to catch it up.